One of those little refrigerators you have to open with a key. Credit card? You've got it. You know, it's funny because there was a point in time a few months ago where I was like, I'm not sure I care that much about Myers-Briggs and personality typing, but I've actually come to get more interested in it as time has gone on. I think it's just because I understand it better, I keep learning more, and so now I think I'm more into personality typing than ever before. I'm wearing the same shirt as I was in the last video, yet I did not record this on the same day. I just happen to wear the same clothes all the time, like a cartoon character. In my real life, for some reason, there are a few of my friends who have started talking about the Enneagram. They're starting to get interested in it and read the book. What's it called? Pathway to Me? Finding the path to myself? Something? I don't remember. I forget what it is. It's funny because I'm overhearing their conversations and they're like, it's much more accurate and seems better than Myers-Briggs. And of course, these people don't know that I have a YouTube channel that's about Myers-Briggs sometimes. I don't say anything, but I feel like this loyalty. I'm like, how can you say that, man? Myers-Briggs is better. Not to, these people, once I've picked a way to do something in a certain category, like a way to organize things, I don't like to look at other systems of doing it because it just becomes like, at what point do we stop? Myers-Briggs, that's how I do it. That's how I type people. I don't want to learn about other stuff because it's gonna confuse me. I have a system. Let's not worry about anything else, okay? It's like Myers-Briggs has these building blocks, the functions, and so you can have all these different combinations to have different personality types, rather than these just 9 distinct things, and that appeals to my brain better, the Myers-Briggs does, than Enneagram. If for some reason you're not familiar with Enneagram, basically the type, you're a number, 1 through 9, and they each have a description. It's interesting because these people, my friends that I was talking to, they all said that the reason they like the Enneagram more than Myers-Briggs is because the Enneagram told them the truth. It told them like the dark side of themselves. And they're like, Myers-Briggs just feels like a horoscope. They just tell you a bunch of nice things. That's what that stupid Vox video about why Myers-Briggs is meaningless, that's what they said. It just tells you things you want to hear. Like, you're loyal, you're cool, you're attractive. The Enneagram tends to point out your flaws. One of my friends was saying like it was embarrassing to read about her type because the flaws of it were so true to her and were like speaking so much to her insecurities that it was like uncomfortable to read. When you take the Myers-Briggs tests or read about the types on most websites, like the big ones for Myers-Briggs, it doesn't tell you anything negative. It'll say, oh, maybe you like to work too hard. Maybe you have a hard time getting started with a project, but you're still so smart and pretty that you'll get it done and it'll be so great. That's the way they are. Yeah, the thing is though, if you look into it, if you start to study it, I mean, you've seen on my channel, I talk about bad stuff all the time because that's the point. That should be why you look into a personality typing system, is to see what's wrong with me and how do I fix it? What do I need to look out for? What is going to trip me up? Like my very last video, the INFJ fatal mistake. That's the kind of crap that we need to know, is what do I have to look out for? I mean, it's good to know your strengths, yeah, but I think we're much more likely to know our strengths already than to know our weaknesses. I think our weaknesses are often in the dark, maybe intentionally so. So really, I mean, in my opinion, the whole point of personality typing is to know the bad stuff. And if you know where to look for Myers-Briggs stuff, you can find people who are going to point out what's wrong with you. I've got a few places besides my own channel that I have looked. First, why don't I try inserting a mid-roll ad and see how much you all hate me for doing so? I'll be right back. How'd you like that mid-roll ad? Was it cool? Did they advertise a product that you think is totally pointless. Why did they show me this? The places I have found that are the most helpful with Myers-Briggs, seeing the bad part of your type, is stellarmaze.com, which combines Myers-Briggs and astrology. And like I've said before, I'm not really into astrology, but they seem to be sort of separated for the most part. It's very interesting to read those articles on Stellar Maze. Also, Dave Superpower's channel here on YouTube is the other place that I go to see what is wrong with all the types. What is their weakness? Those are the top two places that I would look. I think next, Enneagram is what I'm going to look at on this channel. I'm going to learn a bit about it. Maybe take the test. Well, maybe. Of course I'm going to take the test. But then, already I've done the video about the Big Five test. Now, the Big Five personality test is the only scientifically accepted personality test. Scientists don't really use Myers-Briggs. It's not scientific. But the Big Five is, for some reason. Because I guess it's because the traits in the Big Five are things that can be objectively tracked. And it's funny because when I did that video, a lot of people in the comments didn't like the test for some reason. Even though this is the most legitimate of them all, it was not. I mean, a lot of you liked it, but there was a loud minority who thought it was horse poo-poo. Perhaps because it says it's, scientific, objective. When you get results you don't like high in neuroticism, low in conscientiousness, like me, it makes you feel bad about yourself and hopeless. Because with that personality test, you could get a score that's damning, where there's nothing good about it. Whereas at least with Myers-Briggs and Enneagram, it's good and bad. Whereas Big Five, it's possible that you could get a score that is bad or that makes you feel bleak about the future. My score was almost like that, but I had a few saving graces in there, but not many. The other thing that people didn't like is that it's comparing me to other people. I don't like being compared. Comparisons are bad. But it's showing you where you stand within a spectrum of people, within a cross-section of the population. It's not about saying you suck because you're low in openness compared to this person. It's just telling you, hey, if you had 100 people, you'd probably be here in relation to everyone else's score in this trait. There's no judgment in it. The thing, it made me feel like people who really didn't like the tests felt like it was judging them, but maybe they were just being hard on themselves. The other thing is, the Big Five is really about self-improvement, I think. It's about seeing your strengths and everything, but it's also about seeing what you need to work on. So someone like me, being low in conscientiousness, needs to be really aware of making an effort to be orderly and to get tasks done. It's not going to come naturally to me, and I need to just kick my own butt. I'm not sure, but I don't think that Big Five scores are set in stone, whereas I believe Enneagram is basically set in stone, your number, and Myers-Briggs, your personality type's your personality type. It doesn't change. I see that question a lot. People are like, can your Myers-Briggs type change? No. The answer is no. It can't change. The other thing people say is oh, I think I'm half and half. I think I'm half INFJ, half INFP. No, you're not. You're one or the other. Sorry. You're not special. The major flaw of Myers-Briggs is clearly we've all known more than 16 different types of people. Common sense would tell you that there have to be subtypes within every type. There are quintessential people who fit each type, but there are also going to be people who surprise you. And so if you are confused about your type, first of all, it's because it's difficult to see yourself, if not impossible. I feel like you all are pretty self-aware, but it's just difficult to see yourself accurately. If you'd like to see yourself more accurately, start a YouTube channel, because you start to see all your weird tics. You start to examine yourself as though you're a third party, and you're like, wow, I talk about this subject a lot. More recently, Socionics has been coming up a lot in the comments section. That's another one that's similar to Myers-Briggs. It's based in the same Jungian stuff, but I don't want to get into Socionics at this time because it's too close to Myers-Briggs and I don't want to take the time to learn the differences. It's like I said, my brain doesn't really want to work that way. My brain is like, okay, cool, I understand Myers-Briggs and maybe I can look at Enneagram and it's separate enough that I can see how they might work together, but Socionics is so close to Myers-Briggs that it would just be confusing for me, and I just want to stick with what I know for now, and then when I get bored with it, then I can move on. You know what I'm saying? So overall, the point, as I've said, the point of any of this personality stuff, I'm going to make another video going more into detail with this, but in short, personality tests, personality typing is not like the Vox video says, it's just for entertainment, guys. Don't take it seriously. It's just entertainment, just like our videos, but you listen to this video. Personality typing should be used to identify what you're good at and what you're weak at, and then to improve the weaknesses with your strengths. What personality typing is not, and what it should not be used for, is making excuses and to live inside a bubble. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think about all this personality typing stuff, all the different tests. If there's one test you think definitely outclasses the others, if you think they all have some kind of merit, if there's another one that I didn't think about, you know, the Hogwarts house typing system, please leave a like if you enjoyed. Leave a like even if you didn't enjoy it, and just fight through it. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already, and hit that bell button for some bellerific... Anyway, see you next time. Stay cool and attractive.